Today, we're diving into every possible ending in Chrono Trigger, one of the greatest RPGs ever made. This video goes deep into the game's multiple outcomes, explaining how each choice in battle can completely change the fate of its world. If you've never played it before, some parts might be a bit confusing, but don't worry. Everything is clearly explained. And of course, since we're talking about endings, there will be plenty of spoilers ahead. So, let's jump straight into it. Now let's get started. As most of you probably know, Chrono Trigger is famous for having multiple endings, more than 10 in total. And some of them even have small variations depending on your choices throughout the story. Because of that, it's actually hard to define the exact number of endings the game has. Some players count every variation as a separate ending, while others don't. On your very first playthrough, you can only unlock 3 endings, but 2 of them are nearly impossible to get right away, either because of their difficulty or simply because they aren't meant to be discovered the first time around. The rest of the endings only become available after finishing the game once, when you unlock the New Game Plus mode. This special mode lets you start the story over with all your weapons, gear, and levels from your previous adventure, giving you the chance to challenge Lavos at different points in time and experience entirely new conclusions. This is considered the main or normal ending you'll most likely experience the first time you finish Chrono Trigger. To unlock it, you just need to defeat Lavos after reviving Chrono. The ending begins with Chrono waking up in his bedroom, only to be interrupted by a soldier rushing in, saying the king has summoned him to Guardia Castle. When Chrono arrives, King Guardia looks furious at first, but moments later, he reveals that he already knows everything Chrono and his friends did during their time-traveling journey to save the world. Right after that, several familiar faces from different eras appear. Don, the old man from the future, the king of 600 AD, and Kino from prehistory. Luca had brought them all as living proof to show the king what truly happened across time. Then, the Moonlight Parade begins, a joyful festival filled with fireworks, music, and dancers. You can spot Luca's parents, Chrono's mother, Melchior, and countless villagers celebrating under the night sky. It's a moment of peace and closure after the chaos of Lavos. As the night goes on, the group gathers near Luca's teleportation device, realizing that the time gates are starting to close permanently now that Lavos has been destroyed. One by one, the heroes say goodbye and return to their own eras. But just before the last portal disappears, Chrono's mother follows her cats through it and vanishes into another time. Even with the gates sealed, Luca reassures everyone that they can still use the Epilogue, their time-traveling airship, to find her. They take off into the night sky as fireworks light up the horizon, soaring across eras one last time. Meanwhile, King Guardia asks Marley to help him replace Lean's old bell with a new one, the Nadia bell. But before finishing, Marlo's balloons lift her into the air, and Chrono grabs her hand just in time. The two float together above the parade, watching the fireworks as the camera pans up to the starry sky. A few subtle variations exist depending on your choices. The Poyozo doll may appear in Chrono's room if it was collected. If you save the Chancellor in the Rainbow Shell side quest, he replaces Pierre in the castle scene. If Luca's mother was saved in Fiona's forest, she will stand instead of sitting. And if Magus was defeated instead of joining the team, Frog will appear in his human form during the flight sequence. Even small things, like the number of cats Chrono's mother chases, depend on your playthrough. And if you fought Lavos using the Epilogue, she won't vanish at all. Instead, Marley helps her father install the bell, floats upward with her balloons, and shares a final romantic moment with Chrono as they overlook the grand celebration below. To unlock this ending, you must defeat Lavos without reviving Chrono. It's one of the most emotional finales in Chrono Trigger, showing the world saved, but with a painful absence at its heart. After the battle against Lavos, the party awakens in the end of time, disoriented but alive. Marle immediately asks everyone to join her in finding a way to bring Chrono back. Yet, with Lavos defeated and their mission technically complete, each member decides to return to their own era. Even Marle, though reluctant, prepares to say goodbye. At that moment, Gaspar, the old guru of time, realizes he forgot to mention something important: the existence of an item known as the Chrono Trigger, capable of restoring what was lost. The scene then shifts to the Moonlight Parade, where people celebrate the world's salvation, unaware of the quiet sadness among the heroes. Fireworks light up the sky, and Marle walks with Luca toward the telepod platform, reminiscing about everything they've been through. Suddenly, a time gate opens nearby, and stumbling out of it come Frog, Robo, Ayla, Magus, and even Gaspar himself. The heroes surround the old man, demanding answers about the Chrono Trigger, but the flustered guru panics and jumps back into the portal. Determined not to lose the chance to save Chrono, the group follows him. Before Luca and Marley can enter, the gate closes. Desperate, they rush to the Epilogue, determined to chase their friends through time. As they prepare for takeoff, King Guardia once again calls for Marley's help with the new Nedia Bell, but she runs past him, focused on her goal. Taban, Luca's father, fires a volley of fireworks into the night sky as the Epilogue lifts off, soaring through the ages once more. The final scene shows Marle standing on Death Peak, gazing at a shadowy figure resembling Chrono in the distance. She reaches out and runs toward him as the screen fades to black, a silent promise that their reunion will happen, someday, somewhere in time. There are a few alternate details here too. If Luca's mother was saved, she appears standing during the parade. If Magus was never recruited, Frog will appear in his human form when emerging from the portal. And if you use the Epilogue for the final battle, all party members appear at the Moonlight Parade from the start, joining Gaspar for one last mission, bringing Chrono home. The Dream Project is one of the most unique endings in Chrono Trigger, serving as a secret thank you from the game's creators. You can unlock it in two ways: by defeating Lavos immediately after starting a New Game Plus through Luca's telepod, or by somehow managing the nearly impossible task of beating him during the Ocean Palace event. Instead of the usual ending, you appear in the End of Time, but this time, it's filled with the real development team of Chrono Trigger. Each staff member walks around, leaving personal or humorous messages about the making of the game. Some thank you for playing, others talk about their favorite parts of development. It's charming, self-aware, and feels like the team themselves stepped out of the cartridge to greet you. After you've spoken to everyone, Gaspar, the Guru of Time, allows you to visit Specchio's room, where the true Dream Team awaits. Akira Toriyama, the artist behind Dragon Ball. Nobuo Uematsu, the legendary Final Fantasy composer. Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy. Yuji Horii, the mind behind Dragon Quest. And Kazuhiko Aoki, the producer who helped unite them all. It's a playful, heartwarming finale, not about saving the world, but about celebrating creativity itself. As the scene fades to black, the words, "The Dream Project is complete," appear, marking the end of one of gaming's greatest collaborations. The Successor of Guardia ending is one of the funniest and most unexpected moments in Chrono Trigger. You unlock it by defeating Lavos right after saving Queen Leene, but before Chrono's trial in 1000 AD. Back at the Millennial Fair, people whisper and giggle about Marley wandering around disguised as a commoner. Confused, she returns to the castle where her father, the King of Guardia, shows her a mysterious old film. It reveals that Queen Leene, Marle's ancestor, actually married Frog, the brave knight who helped save the kingdom centuries earlier. The revelation hits hard when Marle suddenly transforms into a frog herself, complete with green skin and webbed hands. Chrono and Luca burst into laughter while the king stares in disbelief. It's a short, hilarious ending that plays with Chrono Trigger's theme of ancestry and time travel. After so many emotional finales, this one stands out for its humor and self-awareness. A perfect comic twist to remind players that not every fate through time needs to be serious. The fifth ending, titled Goodnight, is one of the shortest and strangest in Chrono Trigger. To unlock it, you must face Lavos right after reaching the End of Time for the first time, before returning to 600 AD. Instead of an epic conclusion, the game simply shows three creatures, a gnu, a Kiwala, and a bullfrog, goofing around while the credits roll. There's no dialogue, no heroes, just this quirky, light-hearted scene. It feels like a developer's inside joke, rewarding players who dared to challenge Lavos way too early with one of the game's most unexpected and humorous endings. The sixth ending, called Legendary Hero, is unlocked if you defeat Lavos after learning that Tata is considered a hero, but before he admits that it was all a misunderstanding. In this timeline, the people of 600 AD still believe the boy is the prophesied savior who will defeat the darkness. The scene opens in the future, where Robo finds himself wandering through a modern version of Lean Square. There, he encounters Atropos, his old companion, and the two share a quiet, almost romantic moment as they look toward the horizon. A clear nod to how Chrono Trigger mirrors its opening scenes in unexpected ways. Then, the focus shifts back to Tata, now sitting on the throne of Guardia Castle, basking in his false glory as the hero of legend. He eventually decides to confront Magus, but when he arrives at the Dark Castle, he's met not by the feared sorcerer, but by Chrono, Marle, and Luca, who burst out laughing at his foolish attempt. The 7th ending, Unknown Past, happens if you defeat Lavos right after receiving the hero's badge from Tada, but before obtaining the Dreamstone in the prehistoric era. This finale plays like a montage of disconnected scenes from across time, glimpses of what could have been if the heroes stopped too soon. You'll see Chrono, Marley, and Luca emerging from a time portal inside a closet in Medina Village, Magus meeting with his mystic generals, Isla and Kino chasing reptites, Frog wandering through cursed woods, and even Robo sprinting across the screen aimlessly. This ending, People of the Times, is one of the least exciting in Chrono Trigger, after defeating Lavos right after retrieving the gate key from the reptites. But before obtaining the Masamune, you're treated to a simple credit sequence. Various NPCs from different eras appear, dancing, walking, or chatting while the credits roll. The 9th ending, The Oath, is one of the most emotional in Chrono Trigger. To unlock it, you must defeat Lavos after recruiting Frog into your party, but before confronting Magus in his castle. The scene begins quietly inside Luca's house, where the heroes rest after their adventures. Suddenly, Frog stands up, realizing that his mission is not yet over. Without saying a word, he leaves the house, setting out to finish what he started long ago. The story then cuts to Magus's castle, now silent and filled with tension. Frog fights his way through Slash, Flea, and Ozzy, defeating them one by one in classic heroic fashion. The final confrontation between Frog and Magus follows, their duel symbolizing years of pain, loyalty, and vengeance. The scene fades out before revealing the victor, leaving players wondering who survived. In the final moments, the game shows a brief glimpse of the castle's summit. The wind blowing through the ruins, the outcome uncertain. The ambiguity of the oath makes it a fan favorite, blending tragedy, honor, and redemption in one powerful finale. The 10th ending, Dino Age, can be achieved by defeating Lavos after battling Magus, but before defeating Azala in the prehistoric era. In this alternate timeline, the reptites never go extinct. Instead, they evolve and dominate the planet's future. Humanity is completely replaced by lizard-like beings who have built their own civilization. It's a bizarre twist that flips history on its head, showing what the world would look like if the ancient reptiles had won the war against humankind. The 11th ending, What the Prophet Seeks, is unlocked by defeating Lavos after defeating Azala, but before reaching the Ocean Palace. Unlike other outcomes, this one focuses heavily on Magus and his mysterious journey. It begins with a somber image of Frog staring silently at a statue of Magus, suggesting reflection or regret. The scene then transitions to the throne room of Zeal, where the Queen, Shala, and the Prophet stand in uneasy silence, symbolizing the final days of the ancient kingdom. The story unfolds through several short vignettes, a tavern scene in 600 AD filled with familiar faces, the Prophet wandering through the marble halls of Zeal as Alfard, his cat, meows at him, and a haunting glimpse of him walking through the Ocean Palace, surrounded by echoes of the past. Finally, the Prophet reaches the Mammon Machine, where he declares one of his most powerful lines: "If history must change, let it change. If the world must be destroyed, so be it. If I must vanish, I accept my fate. I'm coming, Lavos." It's one of the most atmospheric and poetic endings in Chrono Trigger, emphasizing Magus's tragic determination. A man willing to lose everything for the chance to confront destiny itself. The 12th ending, A Slideshow, is one of the most lighthearted and humorous finales in Chrono Trigger. To unlock it, you must defeat Lavos after Shala opens the sealed door in Zeal, but before charging Marley's pendant at the Mammon Machine. The ending begins with Luca and Marley hosting a cheerful presentation, recounting their adventures through slides. But it quickly turns into a comedic gossip session about the various men they met during their journey. The highlight comes when Chrono suddenly appears and delivers his only line in the entire game. "What are you doing? I thought this was supposed to be a slideshow." It's a fun and self-aware ending that breaks the fourth wall and leaves players laughing. The 13th ending, The Apocalypse, is one of the darkest outcomes in Chrono Trigger. It occurs only if you lose the final battle against Lavos, making it a bad ending, where the heroes fail to stop the creature's rise. After the party is defeated, the game shifts perspective to Trustome Director, who watches in horror as Lavos destroys the planet during the fateful Day of Lavos. The screen trembles as cities crumble, oceans boil, and fire consumes the world. A chilling contrast to the usually hopeful tone of the game. When the destruction is complete, the Earth turns gray and lifeless. The words, "but the future refused to change," appear on screen, marking one of the most haunting moments in all of RPG history. It's a brutal reminder that even in a game about time travel and hope, sometimes destiny wins. The 14th and final ending, Dream's Epilogue, is exclusive to the Nintendo DS version of Chrono Trigger and is considered canon, as it reveals the true fate of Magus after the main story. To unlock this ending, players must complete a special set of side quests and then enter a portal located at the end of time, which leads to a mysterious realm known as the Darkness Beyond Time, a place where lost timelines and erased possibilities converge. Inside this void, the heroes encounter a future version of Magus, who comes from a timeline where Lavos was already defeated. However, even in death, Lavos' essence endured and merged with Shala, Magus' beloved sister, who was lost during the events of the Ocean Palace. Their fusion created a terrifying new entity known as the Dream Devourer, a being that consumes realities themselves. The group faces this abomination in battle, but is easily overwhelmed. Before destroying them, a glimmer of Shala's humanity breaks through. She uses the last of her strength to save the heroes, sending them back through time. She pleads with Magus to let her go, to abandon his endless quest to rescue her, because no power can undo what has happened. Heartbroken and defeated, Magus finds himself drifting alone in a dark void. There, realizing that his obsession has become his curse, he erases his own memories, hoping for a fresh start and a chance to live without the pain of loss. The final scene shows him waking up in a mysterious forest, with no recollection of who he is, only the vague feeling that he must search for something. He walks into the mist, beginning a new, uncertain journey. Many fans believe this scene connects Chrono Trigger to Chrono Cross, suggesting that Magus reappears under the name Guile, now a wandering magician in the El Nido archipelago. Although this theory was later denied by writer Masato Kato, the parallels remain fascinating. Regardless of interpretation, Dream's Epilogue is a haunting and poetic finale, a quiet, emotional closure to one of the greatest RPGs ever made. And that's it. All the endings of Chrono Trigger, one of the most legendary RPGs ever made. This video took a lot of time and effort to put together, but honestly, I loved working on it. Revisiting this masterpiece and remembering why it still captivates us after all these years was amazing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Your support really helps a lot and keeps this kind of content alive. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.